Our today's crime story is from Canada. The Shafia family murders,
which took place on June 30th, 2009.
In Kingston, Ontario, Canada. Zainab, 19 years old, Sahar, 17 years old, Geethi, 13 years, and their stepmother Rona Muhammad Omar, 52 years old. All of them were found dead inside a car, which was discovered underwater in front of the northernmost Kingston Mill Lock of the Rideau Canal. Zainab, Sahar, and Geethi were daughters of 58 years old Muhammad Shafia. But who was Muhammad Shafia? In 1980, Muhammad Shafia married Rona Muhammad. The couple did not have children, and medical tests confirmed that Rona was unable to have children. In keeping with Afghan custom, Muhammad Shafia took Tuba Yahya as his second wife. The second wedding took place in 1989, and Rona features prominently in many wedding photographs, many of which feature Shafia flanked by his two wives. The three of them lived together in one household, as is customary, and Tuba gave birth to 7 children. Rona participated fully in raising and caring for the children and bonded strongly with them as though they were her own. Her relationship with her co-wife, however, was less idyllic. The Shafia family left Afghanistan in 1992. They moved to Australia for a brief time. Later, they relocated to the United Arab Emirates, where they lived for over a decade. Muhammad Shafia made a considerable fortune in Dubai, working in the used car business and later diversifying into real estate. By 2007, he was a multi-millionaire. He soon decided to take advantage of an immigration program introduced by the government of Quebec in Canada, which offered permanent residence and eventual citizenship to people who invested significant money in the province. Shafia invested $2 million in purchasing a strip mall on the outskirts of Montreal. He invested a further $200,000 in building a spacious new house for his family. Muhammad Shafia, his second wife Tuba, and their 7 children immigrated to Canada and settled in the Montreal in 2007. 5 months later, Shafia sponsored Rona his first wife immigration, telling authorities that she was his cousin and that she would work as a cook and housekeeper. According to a family member's interview, Rona was trapped in an abusive, loveless marriage, trying in vain to convince her husband to grant her a divorce. Rona's siblings claimed that she feared for her life during the days leading up to her death. Tuba allegedly said to Rona, "You are a slave, you are a servant." Reportedly, the Shafia held all of Rona identity documents, including her passport, so Rona believed she could not flee to another country where she had relatives. With the exception of the polygamy, the Muhammad Shafia family seemed like a charming, successful immigrant story on the surface. But underneath, trouble was brewing. Culture clash and abuse. While in Dubai, the older children had attended an American-run private school and mingled with students from many countries. The older girls, Zainab and Sahar, had their first brush with Western culture and they liked what they saw. They were even more impressed by the freedoms their classmates enjoyed in Montreal. Then, boys entered the picture. In 2008, Zainab, now 18, invited her Pakistani boyfriend over to the house when her parents were away. But her brother, Hamid, was there and he enjoyed the position of stand-in for Muhammad Shafia when his father was absent. Hamid ordered the boy to leave the house, and Zainab was pretty much confined to her room for 10 months. Next, it was 16-year-old Sahar's turn to feel the wrath of her father's rules of obedience. She was accused of kissing a boy, a sin of major proportions in the Shafia family. 12-year-old Geethi idolized her sister Sahar and had a rebellious streak. She, too, wanted a typical Canadian teenager's life and not a conservative Afghan existence. But wearing makeup and defying female subservience brought down the fury of her father on her. Coming home late one day from a mall, Geethi was beaten by father Muhammad Shafia and brother Hamid. As Zainab watched, unable to help her younger sister, that was too much for Zainab. In April 2009, she ran away and took refuge in a women's shelter. Later, it emerged that any sign of defiance by the girls was met with physical abuse, usually delivered by their brother Hamid, and threats of death. Muhammad Shafia believed that the behavior of his daughters had cast a dark stain on his honor, and the only way to remove it was to kill the people who he believed put it there. The deadliest day arrived.
On the morning of June 30th, 2009,
3 people showed up at police headquarters in Kingston, Ontario. Muhammad Shafia, his wife Tuba Yahya, and their 18-year-old son were there to file a missing person report. They were staying at a motel on their way home to Montreal after a trip to Niagara Falls. They said they were traveling in 2 vehicles, a Nissan Sentra and a Lexus SUV. The family said one of the daughters had grabbed the Nissan's keys and, with 2 sisters and their nanny Rona Amir, had gone off joyriding. They had not returned, said Muhammad Shafia. However, Kingston police already had a good idea. That where the missing females were. A submerged Nissan Sentra with 4 corpses in it had been found in the Rideau Canal. Under more questioning, the Shafia family's story started to unravel. Shards of headlight plastic found at the canal matched a broken headlight on the Lexus SUV. Had the bigger vehicle been used to push the Sentra into the canal, with the females already dead from drowning inside? It seemed possible. So police bugged their car and listened as Muhammad Shafia and his wife, Tuba Yahya, talked about what they had done. In the recorded conversations, Muhammad Shafia was frequently heard ranting about how his honor had been defiled by his daughters and first wife. He was heard cursing his daughters as whores and filthy and rotten children. I am happy and my conscience is clear, Shafia stated. They haven't done good and God punished them. He added that he hoped the devil would shit on their graves. Later, he stated, even if they hoist me up onto the gallows, nothing is more dear to me than my honor. As police investigated further, they uncovered a family ruled by an abusive tyrant, aided by his wife and son, who used violence to impose his will on his first wife and his children. Within 3 weeks, Muhammad, Tuba, and Hamid were in custody. Police had physical evidence, the broken headlight, and motive, Muhammad's shattered honor, on which to build a case. All 3 of them entered not guilty pleas, and the trial, which began in October 2011, took 4 months, during which 58 witnesses were called. The Crown prosecution believed that Shafia, Yahya, and their son drowned the 4 victims of their family first, and then placed their bodies in the car and used their vehicle to push it into the canal. However, they never found evidence of how and where the pre-drowning took place. But the jury agreed and passed verdicts of guilt for first-degree murder on all three.
On January 29, 2012, after 15 hours of deliberation,
a jury found each of the three defendants guilty of 4 counts of first-degree murder. In Canada, first-degree murder verdicts carry an automatic sentence of life without the possibility of parole for 25 years. According to the United Nations Assistance Mission in Afghanistan, between January 2016 and December 2017, there were 280 cases of honor killings reported in Afghanistan. Although many cases go unreported, the UN agency said that in the vast majority of cases, the perpetrators go unpunished, followed by deportation. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe our channel for more videos. See you in next video.